Big Sexy Chat's fan favorite guest, Jen McClellan, is back. And this time, we're diving into her powerful TEDx talk on weight bias and dignity. From the vulnerability of sharing her own story to the very real barriers fat people still face in healthcare, travel, and daily life, this conversation is honest, eye-opening, and deeply needed. Welcome to Gen X.
Hey, you made it! Ha, you're just in time for a little something juicy with Chrystal and Murph. Talking fat, sex, big feels, hot takes and kinks. We're breaking all the rules, babe. What you think? It's big, sexy chat. Say it back now. Big, sexy chat. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Sexy Chat. My name's Chrystal and I'm hosting alone tonight. My first time doing that since I started Big Sexy Chat way back in 2022 with Murph and Ashley, and I'm excited to have our lovely guest here today. Someone who comes up on our podcast a lot. It seems like we talk about you a lot and we talk about Tigress a lot. Hi Jen from Plus Mommy.
Hi Chrystal. Thank you so much for having me again. It's always an honor to be on your incredible show.
Thank you. It's so great to have you. And like we told you too, your podcast that we did together last year was our #1 most downloaded podcast in 2025. Aww. So yay, Plus Mommy.
Thank you. I felt so honored. I was sharing all over.
Very cool. Very neat. Thank you for doing that. So welcome back, Jen. For those of you who don't know, Jen and I met in 2014 in person at Jess Baker's Body Love Conference in Tucson, Arizona.
And I got to be your Vanna White with sex toys. It was like the highlight of the trip.
That was really fun. Yeah, that was 2014. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
I know.
And Jess is really, she's not doing really, I don't think she's doing that much in the fat liberation space right now, but I've heard from several people that she stays really busy with her other advocacy work and things like that. So anyway, we hope she's doing great out there. So yes, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people that particular first ever only Body Love conference. And oh man,
I think they had one more. They had one more after, I think.
Maybe one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think that it's hard. It's hard having an event where you have a lot of people helping out with the planning because everybody has their own opinions and stuff. I know this just because,
you're the expert with it. Yeah.
I'm just, and you want to give people their agency and their autonomy and help you out with your event and stuff, but it can be tricky when you, just like anything we all do with families or friends, when there's more than one human involved, things are hard. It's not easy to make a group decision, Have you ever gone out with on a camping trip with your friends or your girlfriends? Are like, what do you want to do? I don't care. What do you want to do? I don't care. What do you want to do? And I'm like, look, y'all, we could do what I want to do all freaking weekend, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and I don't care. I don't care because I know somebody cares, and they're just not saying, and they're going to be a martyr later. So I'm like, fine. If you don't care, here's the agenda. But I want everybody to give their input, but sometimes it doesn't work, right? You try to be democratic about it, and it's hard. It's really hard.
I don't go camping though anymore. I'm past sleeping on the ground. I was a camp counselor for many summers in my youth. That was fun.
No more. Can't do it. My body doesn't like it. Anyway, before we get into too much about your TED Talk, which I can't wait to talk about, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and how to find you and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course.
My name is Jen McClellan, and I'm the founder of Plus Size Birth and the Plus Mommy podcast. So in 2011 now, I started Plus Size Birth, talking about plus size pregnancy and creating all the resources that I couldn't find when I was plus size and pregnant, and became a certified childbirth educator. So I get to travel the nation talking to care providers about weight bias in healthcare and how we can all make an impact and treat people with dignity. And it's an honor to do that work. And then I've had the podcast since 2014. It's on a little hiatus now. That happens every now and again, but it's definitely there. And the tagline is "From Bumps to Bellies." We talk about it all. So lots of pregnancy content, but it goes beyond that as well.
I like to remind people that fat people have been having babies since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Duh. I'm like, why? And whenever I talk about you, I tell people, oh, you have to listen to her talk about gestational diabetes. You have to understand that it's so nuanced. There's so much more to it. And everybody just assumes that you're fat, you're going to have gestational diabetes. It turns out everybody gets gestational diabetes, not just fat people. And anyway, that and the fact that, yeah, fat people have been having babies since the beginning of time. Nothing new.
Yes. And look, people of all sizes who go into pregnancy without blood sugar issues, yes, there's risks and there's increased risk, but they're actually not as astronomical as we're led to believe. And I know this one isn't about pregnancy, but just real quick.
Yes.
You have I like to flip the script. So instead of feeling overwhelmed, statistically, you've got about an 83% chance of not incurring gestational diabetes if you're in a larger body. And that number isn't fixed. Like, you can bring it down more. So don't buy into all the fear mongering there is.
Great advice. Yes. Okay. TED Talk. Wow. Oh my gosh. So amazing. I know 2 fatties that have done TED Talks, you and Lillian Bustle.
Yes.
I know there are more.
Though.
Are there? Okay.
Yeah.
Like who else? Can you think of any others?
Yes. I'm so bad with names and we're recording late at night, so I apologize. But the amazing producers and directors behind the incredible documentary, and I'm stalling a little bit to remember the name of it.
Oh, that Aubrey made? Aubrey Gordon? That one?
No.
I know
no,
the button poetry lady has a TED Talk too, I believe.
Yeah,
I can't think of her name.
I feel so
it's okay,
horrible.
We'll come back to it.
Okay, we'll have to put it in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. But so, okay. Everybody knows what a TED Talk is, and we always joke about how we all have our own TED Talks, right, that we do practically daily on social media, especially if you're in a fat body. But how in the hell did you get to did they find you? Did you find them? Did you apply? What the heck? How did that all work?
When I started public speaking in like 2012, 2013, I lived in Colorado and I really wanted to why not apply for a TED Talk? And I don't even think I heard back. And I was trying to remember if I applied once or twice, but I never heard back or made it to the next stage. And in June of 2025, so just last year, on Instagram, I got a message from the incredible leader of TEDx ABQ, so Albuquerque, here where I live, Alex Endrigo Adams. And she said, I would love to talk to you about giving a TED Talk. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay. And we had coffee. And at that coffee date, she said, we had talked about her vision and that she'd really love me from following me and getting to know my work for quite some time to talk about weight bias in healthcare. And then she asked, will you do it? And I was like, wait, like there's no, I don't have, like, this is it. Like, I'm in. And she was like, yeah, we're having a lot of people do like a speed dating speaking event to apply. And then a handful of people she hand selected, and I was honored to be one of them. So it just felt so, yeah, I cried. I was so honored.
So this had nothing to do with your application. She was just been watching your work on Instagram.
No, but I share that I applied years ago and never heard back, because don't give up. If you've ever wanted to give a TED Talk, and local TED, so there's TED, right? And then there's TEDx, and TEDx are independently put together, but under the TED umbrella, and then they're throughout the world. So, look into your local TED events, and they're always doing calls for speakers every year. So don't let a rejection hold you back, because I just gave a TED Talk.
So when you apply, you don't have to file any money or anything like that, do you?
No, you don't pay for this and you don't get paid. So, yeah.
And then you had a coach.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you've done this 1,000 times, done these talks and stuff, but you had like a talk person to help you, coach you for this TED Talk.
Yeah. After I was asked to speak, I was like, okay, I've been speaking for a decade. I've spoken in front of like 500 people. I've got this, but I also had never been coached. And part of TEDx ABQ includes coaching. They really want, stellar talks and people to feel really good and confident. And while they've invited you or you've been accepted, you're not fully green lit until, a couple months later, leading right up to the TED event. So even though I was in, I still had to be approved by the coaches and to see how the talk came through. So the coaching was optional, except for they wanted you to attend at least 2 or 3. But I was like, oh my gosh, like I've always wanted to have a speaking coach. So I'm gonna do this. And so I went in humble. Like that was really important to me to be like, even though I have this experience, I want to take advantage of this amazing dream and opportunity. And so it was interesting because Chrystal, I thought, oh, I've been speaking for so long. I got this. I can do this. But speaking and educating is so different than a TED Talk. A TED Talk is really designed to be, as TK Ogiri says, my coach, like a conversation at a picnic. So for me, it was so much growth, unexpected growth and challenges. I felt more challenged creating an 8 to 10 minute talk than I've given hour and a half talks to like maternity care groups. So yeah, it was.
How do you pare it down to such? I mean, I've seen you speak. You're a great speaker.
Thank you.
I don't know how you did it. I think it's like about 9 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, mine was just around 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Some are longer. Like the longest they really wanted is like 17, but TEDx ABQ wanted it 8 minutes. And so we all went in because I think there was originally like 15 of us and there ended up being 12 or 13 at the end. So again, not everyone makes it. You really got to put in your all. But it was intense. And so it just started by us showing up at coaching, and the coach, who was pretty hardcore, I mean, she's straight to the point, saying, speak.
What did you learn? What did you learn about yourself that you're like, oh shit, do I do that? And you're like, I do that.
I went into this like, I've spoken for so many years, but it's been about teaching about weight bias and the plus size pregnancy experience, or body love for parents and body love for ourselves. And while I had shared parts of my stories throughout, it was never fully about me. And so that became a thing of like, you want to tell a story. Like you want people to be engaged. And you're there to teach. And so a lot of it is you being vulnerable and open. I mean, it depends what direction you take, but that's what I did. And it was surprising to me how challenging it was, because like the first time you're just kind of getting the ball rolling, but then the second time I had really worked on my script and showed up to coaching, and I was basically like, don't be an asshole to fat people. I was like almost aggressive in how I was speaking. And they're like, okay, well, that was something, but that's not really a TED Talk. And so I was so glad I went in humble, because I was just like, oh, great. Give me feedback. Tell me more. What can I do different? What can I do better? And so you just spend weeks tweaking minute little things. Like if you're only speaking for 8 to 10 minutes, every sentence matters. What are you trying to say?
Did you have any tears at all during all that process?
Oh my gosh. So many. Like I had never worked so hard on something for 10 minutes in my life. Like it became so intense that I even stopped going to coaching twice a week, because it was just like
so much.
Felt so overwhelming and felt so vulnerable. And my talk starts off by me sharing how a care provider assumed that I needed to be on oxygen because I was struggling to breathe and wasn't even helping me. They were just like, well, here's your BMI. Maybe you just need to be on oxygen. And I was just literally like this. I was like, this is not my normal. And so talking about my own experiences with weight bias, and then my journey to the work that I do now, and like talking about what is the solution to changing the conversation around weight bias. And so it was so much work, Chrystal, but one of the things that stands out to me that I'd love to share is I got to the point where I felt like I was making good points. And, the title is like, everybody deserves to be treated with dignity, which I probably would have changed the title now, thinking about search engine optimization. But that was really my message, is that we all deserve it. But there was no levity in my talk, like none. I knew it was missing. And people made some suggestions, because you kind of like, you're coached as the main work, but then other people will help too. And they make these suggestions, but they were kind of self-deprecating jokes. And it was very important to me as a fat woman talking about weight bias that I was not going to be self-deprecating. And that took work of like, how do you write a joke as a fat person that isn't going to be self-deprecating when you're specifically talking about weight? And so, funny enough, and it did get laughs, my parents actually met at Weight Watchers. So that was like the perfect thing when I talked about how like growing up, the first thing doctors always talked about was like, what diet are you on?
Right.
And then at least as if I hadn't tried them all twice.
Yeah.
But then I say, in fact, my parents met at Weight Watchers. So technically I've been attending meetings since before I was even born. So that's the joke that I went with. I was like, do I say like, I'm the best thing out of Weight Watchers? No, I don't have that big of an ego. But like, I played a lot with like, where the joke. Yeah. And the other joke was around BMI, that it was created in the 1800s by a mathematician, around the same time, that leeches were, advancements in technology. I don't say exactly like that, but, so that was tricky though, because you want to move hearts and minds. And part of that is making people laugh. And I think that's a lot of what I do on the daily in my personality and showing up, in Instagram stories. But it felt challenging to write that into a very tight script, but I did it.
Yeah. And I loved, it was a good laugh. And also I could definitely hear when you got choked up during the talk, you could definitely hear that in your, and not just because I know you, but because you could tell that you're feeling emotional about it. I know it's a tough topic for all of us. No matter how, even though we've been doing it forever, it's still hard to reconcile that people just feel they have disdain towards us.
Yeah. And also Alex, amazing human who put this together, but she had this huge, big vision of like a circus theme. So there were acrobats and all this stuff, but it was a round stage, with people sitting all the way around you 360. And so I, as someone who has spoken, and has experience, was like way overwhelmed and scared because I'm like, okay, I really have to engage all the way around. But not only that, people are going to be staring at my butt at times. And so what the fuck do I wear? Like wanting to.
Why did they have it the stage like that? Why was it like that?
Because she wanted the circus theme and curiosity and creativity was like the theme of it.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing event. And the video is incredible.
It's great.
It looks so great. But it really was like people who had hardly done any speaking, they're just like, okay, like going through the motions of learning. And I'm just like, whoa, do they not realize how hard this is? It is hard. And then also just being vulnerable and honest of, hey, if you guys are going to have stairs up to the, the platform, like I'm a little nervous about that. And I might be out of breath and being vulnerable and sharing all that. And they had a lovely person who escorted me and held my hand up to the stage. So I felt fully supported. And also I had to, I didn't have to, but part of my talk and really like the theme throughout of like inclusivity was I chose to sit in a chair with arms on stage and show how it didn't fit my body. But
every fat person on the planet is like, that's me. There I am. That's my whole life right there.
But I didn't get to rehearse that in advance.
Really?
The chair was not there at rehearsals. So I got a picture of like, which chair do you want, Jen? And I picked the smaller one intentionally. So the day of, I'm showing up to like give this talk that I've dreamed of. And I'm like, shit. So the chair can't be too small, but I don't want it too big. And I could, but I don't want to break the chair on stage. And I tell you, Chrystal, it was like a glass slipper. Like it was just tight enough, but not too tight. So it all, I feel like everything worked out and all the hard work, like every day that I dropped my kid off at high school, on the way back, I was rehearsing. Every shower I was rehearsing. And any time in the car alone, I was rehearsing. I've never I've never, worked so hard on something before.
Man, and rehearsal makes all the difference, because I've tried to wing things before. The rehearsal makes it so much better always, but it was so good, Jen. And then also just when you're a speaker, you're trying to engage with your entire audience, right? So you're trying to make sure you make eye contact with everybody, but you have to figure out how to do that 360
all the way around.
What the hell? That's a challenge on its own.
That's where a lot of the coaching came in. And
Okay.
also, I wasn't good at breathing in the beginning because I felt like I got to talk about this. I'm so impassioned. And they're like, breathe. So breathing and pacing, like I know I'm going to be such a stronger speaker from everything I learned from this experience. And I've talked to other people who have given a TED Talk and they had to hire their own coaches. So I'm so thankful that this was provided to me, because it really, even though I have so much experience, made such a difference.
And it must be crazy expensive to hire a TEDx talk coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll shout out TKO Gary again. She's amazing. But yeah, that was included as us, donating our time to give this TED Talk.
And that was all there near you. So you did all this coaching and stuff in person, not Zoom.
Yeah, all in person.
Wow. And you looked adorable.
Thanks. That was another thing, is you can't wear black, and
of course.
You couldn't wear darker colors because you'd blend in. Part of TEDx, to be a part of TEDx, is high production level. And that's why every TED video you've ever seen is such great quality. So they're very, have guidance on what you can wear, what you can do, you can't do, all this stuff. And that was a struggle because, I still have internalized fat phobia, and I was fearful of what my body was going to look like 360, in this momentous opportunity. And I wanted to wear black. I'll be straight honest with that. Like, I have a really cute black dress, and that's what I wanted to wear. And I even pushed back, and they were like, well, just, think and try. And it took some internal work to be like, Jen, like, this is why you're here. Like,
also,
show up.
No matter how much black we wear, people can still see how much space we take up. But it's just an easy thing to do. Even for me, just like not seeing too much busyness underneath my eye line, like I just prefer solids. I don't wear things that are fussy. And I know this is years and years of conditioning that I've received, and I probably should undo it at some point, but it's just so much easier. You have like a uniform. I have my uniform. People know me for my pants and my undershirt and my overtop. You have your cute leggings and your tunics and your super cute shoes, and that's your style. Like, we all know that's what you're going to cute dress. We always have a cute dress on.
But I was thankful for snag tights because I could wear tights that actually fit my body. So giving them a shout out. And
absolutely.
And I went for a navy, not even navy, like a bright blue dress. And I really worked through, like, why am I feeling this way? And why do I want to wear black? Because it is all internalized fat phobia. And so then I was like, no, you have to show up. And so I did, and I felt so pretty. And
you did. You looked adorable.
Thank you.
Weren't you taught like, especially when you're going to be on television, nothing fussy, not too many prints, not too much plaid. Everything just gets so blown out on television.
Yep.
And then
there was like no patterns. No. I'm like, for your show, I got to whip out that Fat Babe sweatshirt, right? But there was no words on your shirts. No. Like, very, very clear on what to do and not to do. But in those rules are set so that you shine the best you can, and that your TED Talk does as well.
I think the point is that they don't want people's attention to go somewhere else. If you're wearing something, or like your shirt's rising up in the back, or it's opening up at the bra, they want to get rid of all that stuff, all that noise, right? So,
and props are not normally used in a TED Talk. So that was something that we went back and forth on, but it really added an important element, because my takeaway was really like to start thinking about how weight bias shows up in our everyday lives. From the chairs we choose, the questions we ask, how we show up. So it fit great. One other element of my talk that I didn't really get to experience until being on the TED stage on that red dot was I included horrific things that have been said about my body, true screenshots of awful things, which I was shocked because I didn't get to see the pictures before, that the faces weren't blurred out. I asked them to be blurred out for the actual video that came out just for liability. But like, I just gave them examples of screenshots of actual comments that people have said to me on social media that are just horrific. And so I had to stand on stage, and they did a audio overlay of these things, and then they were also on the screen. And I just kept telling myself, as I'm hearing all these awful things, just hold your head up, girl, hold your head up. And I did, but that was intense too. Like, I knew that was an element of my talk. I just didn't get to rehearse it. And that was one thing that I was like, but I really was like, don't look down, look up, own it.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, man. So since it happened, how long did it take by the time you finished the recording and everything, they produced it and they made it available? How long did that take?
The TED Talk was in late September, and then it came out. Like, when did I post about it? Because I was stalking Ted's YouTube, because that's where it drops. And it was November, but I don't remember exactly when. I'm sure I can find it right here. It was, oh no, that's when I did my talk. That's just a photo. But let's see here. I made too many reels, Chrystal. But
not too many. You made just the right amount.
In mid-November. So it was a wait after doing something. Like, you're just so anxious and so excited, but it also just felt so good to be done after doing something that you worked so hard on too.
Did you have that like endorphins and you couldn't sleep for a few days?
Oh my gosh. Like, I still get a little nervous before speaking. I have these routines and breathing exercises, but at the rehearsal, I was sweating buckets. I was so thankful for the volunteer, the speaker coordinator, Lanisha. She was like fanning me down, and I had a fan, and I'm like, oh, I got my dress dry cleaned and I have to wear this tomorrow. And I'm just like, it just felt so vulnerable to share my own journey. And but the day of, I was less nervous, thankfully. And once I was on that stage, I felt like I just knew it. I mean, it had been so internalized from rehearsing so much. There were a few little things that I dropped. When you hear me make the pause and it like comes across as emotional, that was me actually going, oh fuck. but I've been speaking for so long, I know how to like pivot. Because there was nervousness, and my loving partner, Chris, was sobbing in the front row, and I'm like, I can't look at you. What are you doing to me?
I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So mostly good has come from it. I'm hoping that, like, have you gotten a lot of like negative?
Well, here's something that we can relate to. Like positive response to it. But I thought, okay, here's the dream. You get TEDx, and then I, would love to get a speaking agent and do a lot more speaking. And then Southwest happened. And I used to fly. I say used to. I haven't flown since this all happened, but flew exclusively Southwest because of their customer size. That's how I've flown the country to speak about weight bias in healthcare. And now that's taken away, and I'm afraid. So I recently got a, outreach about a speaking opportunity. It was the first time I had to be like, hey, yes, thank you for this opportunity. But by the way, like, part of my expenses is going to have to be you covering possibly 2 seats. And that was hard. And it was even someone I knew who was booking me for their amazing conference. Like, it was emotional, and it was, again, I say embarrassing because I still have that internalized fat phobia, even though I've worked so hard, but I own it. Like, I was embarrassed to have that conversation of like, listen, and money is always a tricky conversation too, because that can be up to another $400. So it was hard to navigate. And so it makes me, I need to own it. And I feel like once I fly for the first time since it's gone, I'll feel better, more confident, but it's just been devastating.
Yeah, I did fly recently, but I got right under the day before.
Oh, wow.
The 27th. Yeah. So, and I wasn't sure because the flight was full, but I'm going to call them anyway because I'm just so pissed off. And they gave me like my $179 back.
Good.
I was like, well, it was really great knowing y'all. I probably won't be flying with you guys anymore. It's been a great 15 years. Thank you so much. And they're like, the people you talk to on the phone, they're like, I'm sorry, it's a corporate decision. We know that, but it's like, man, I've given you all of my business, like 100% of my business. I started flying again because of them 15 years ago. And now I'm like, why would I fly Southwest? Because I mean, it's bare bones. And then I'd rather fly, if I'm going to pay all this money, I'm going to go fly American or Alaska or whatever. But it just means I'm going to always have to pay double what normal people pay to travel across the country.
Yeah. As I loved what Reagan Chastain recently said about like, we have to pay double to go from point A to point B just because of our size. Like that really stuck home to me. To me, it was like you had this inclusive policy that made such an impact and gave people such dignity. And it wasn't just for people of size. It was for the people. I mean, it wasn't just for the people who share a row with us. It was also for us. Like, I don't like to snuggle with strangers either. So, it's been hard. And also, like, I worked with Southwest. Like, they flew me out for their first ever creators event because a reel that I made about their policy went viral with like over 3 million plays. So to have them pick me because of my size, and then, a year and a half later, say we don't care about people of size
it's wild. I mean, they were making billions of dollars of profit while using this person of size policy. I wonder if we're not flying with them anymore, are they going to feel it? Because imagine how many people bought tickets because of you and me. Just the people that you and I have influenced.
Yeah.
Like my cousins, my family members, my people in my curvy girl community. Well, yeah, I'm flying. They can see me and see how fat I am. I'm flying. I get a second flight. I get a second seat. I get the seatbelt extender. And they're like, you can fly. I go, I can fly. Thanks to Southwest. And now I don't know. I don't see me flying them again. Why would I?
Yeah.
Pretzels? They're a bag of pretzels?
It's hard. And I'm also in Albuquerque, so I've heard Spirit's like the front row is great. I don't even think we have Spirit. Like we are a very tiny airport here.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of options. And to go from like thinking, oh, I want to speak everywhere to like,
I know.
How? Yeah. I mean, it was emotional enough putting myself in public on a plane out there in general, because you see how people look at you.
People are going to be rude. Yeah. We sign up for that. We know.
Part of it. Yeah. And now it just feels like,
back to that. Yeah, I know. We went backwards, just like everything. Unfortunately, this whole GLP-1 thing has took a lot of our progress away, but I'm still working on it. I know you are still too. And I'm just so proud of you and so excited for you. And maybe we can I know Tigress always has some good ideas about traveling. She travels a lot. And
her group is like my number one resource or Flying Well Fat. That's hers, right?
I think that's Stacey Bias's group.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Tigress has amazing resources, though.
Yeah, and she's always flying for NAFA, so she does have a lot of great resources. And
I got again later at night. My brain is fried.
Yeah, me too. And like you, Tigress comes up on all of our episodes.
Yeah,
she is such a great resource.
Amazing. So much she really admire the work of Tigress and
I
every fat activist who has been doing this work for decades, right?
Yes,
the
pendulum will swing back again. People are learning now that the GLP-1s aren't, they weren't as perfect as they thought they might be. And like all of their diets, people are gaining their weight back and then additional weight, the rebound weight plus some. So, and some people will be able to stay on it the rest of their lives. And that's great too. I always want people to do what they need to do for their bodies. If you were a friend of mine, you asked me directly and you wanted my opinion, I would tell you, but I'm not going to, if you're a fat person, you need to do it. It's a great drug for diabetes. We know that. And, people get their diabetes turned around right away. I mean, once you're a diabetic, you're always a diabetic, but I think it's great, but I hate to, I feel like it's a little bit like eugenicsy right now. Like they're trying to get rid of all of us fatties, I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm probably going to stay fat my whole life just because I've been fat for like almost 58 years. So just thinking maybe it's my genetic code.
We're like, even in my work as a childbirth educator, like we're hearing care providers at this 6-week postpartum visit recommending a GLP-1 for people in larger bodies. And there's no studies to show that it's safe for breastfeeding and chest feeding. So,
Yeah.
and we know the benefits of those things. So yeah, it's there's so much to unpack. But you know, no matter what, there's always going to be people of all different sizes.
Of course.
I'm still going to be speaking about weight bias. You're still going to be doing the work that
Yes.
you've been doing, and we're going to keep showing up because, you know, there's always going to be a need, sadly, to combat these damn biases. That again, I've even admitted multiple times now. I still carry. I'll never forget doing the Harvard implicit bias test. Have you ever done that, Chrystal?
Yes.
I encourage people listening, you can do it for multiple biases, which is so important. But for weight bias, I've probably even shared it with you on the show. Like, I was ashamed of my result, but I think it helps just to normalize. Even I'm still unpacking stuff. I think it helps to alleviate some of that pressure to be like a good human and, oh, I would never. We all do. We all hold our biases. So you got to keep
like they
working.
Say, fish don't know they're swimming in water, you know?
Ooh.
We're swimming in it. We're swimming in all of it. It's just inherent in our culture, and diet culture is everywhere. It's like white supremacy. It's just everywhere. It's
I know
everything we do in our country, especially, is steeped in white supremacy and diet culture. And they're both fucked up. So, okay. So back to business of stuff, a business of the TED Talk stuff. Can you use the video and put it on your website? Can you say I'm a TEDx speaker? Like, can you use all that kind of labeling and branding for your stuff?
TED owns the video. So one thing we can't do is like take the video and download it. Okay. Although you see everyone making reels, which I still haven't done. I need to make my own reel. But you can embed the video from YouTube anywhere. So it's all over my website. And so you can embed anywhere from YouTube, right? So yes, you can put it on your website as long as you embed it. And yes, I am a TEDx speaker. I can say that and use the logo, and I definitely updated all of my bios. That is the highlight. And I did actually get an email the other day from someone saying, oh, I saw your TED Talk and I'm interested in speaking. So I'm hopeful that those messages will keep coming in because I love what I do. I just wish there weren't so many barriers to even just showing up.
Wonder what words you can search on that lets that TED Talk come up. Like I just did like Jen, plus mommy, TED Talk, and there, bam. But I know you specifically, but like, I wonder if I didn't know you and I just want to know.
If you just
are there any talks?
If you just type in Jen McClellan, it'll come up as the first video, the TED Talk. Sweet. But I mean, the name of it is Every Body Deserves to be Treated with Dignity. So it'll pop up that way. But with my name, it comes up. But if you do search for TED Talks on weight bias, there are some. Mine just won't pop up because of the title. And so that's one thing I wish I would have done a little different. But it is what it is. And like, if that's my only thing I wish I would have done different, then I'm very proud.
I know you're an analytics girl. So are you getting traffic from the TED Talk to you?
I mean, it dropped right before the holidays and then I got pneumonia. So even I haven't promoted it as much as I want to. So I'm going to do another round. I mean, it was my goal that so it's on the main, it's like a part of the YouTube of TED, which has like millions of subscribers. So you want TED to like profile it. So that hasn't happened. That's still the dream. And I want a lot more people to watch it. So if you're listening, it's like just around 10 minutes. It's not that long.
Jen,
but I would love more people to watch it.
When I don't know if you know this about Groupons, but when you do a Groupon, if you promote your Groupon, the more people that go and click on your Groupon, the more Groupon does for you.
Oh.
So then they're all of a sudden that you show up in their newsletters, not just on the Groupon page. Oh. And then you'll get in their weekly newsletter or their weekend newsletter. And I tested this twice when I had the store, Curvy Girl. And then when I became an electrologist, and I was like, oh, I see how this works. So the more I did trying to get people to go to my Groupon, even if they didn't buy it, I said, just go to that, please.
Yeah, go to
and then just everybody goes there a few times a month or once a quarter. I think that helps them. Have you ever been highlighted on Apple podcasting? Some people move on to the
No.
For Your page or whatever.
Oh yes, when the show dropped, it was like in a top pregnant
Okay, yeah.
family podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that. It's like how much they notice how much interest there is about you. And then when you start bubbling up, then they start going, hey, we should, it's like the rich get richer kind of thing.
Definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I need to keep pushing eyeballs onto the TED YouTube. Yeah, I want so many people to see it because it just it means so much, and I hope that it in a relatable way shows the life existence of being someone in a fat body and where it started and dieting and diet culture, and that I had this amazing experience where a care team didn't just look at my weight. Like, it was the first time as an adult that I was treated with dignity, and it's when I was pregnant. And because of that, that's why I've been doing the work I've been doing for 15 years now, almost.
Right.
Because I was treated with such kindness by a care team.
Amazing.
Like, it seems so simple, Chrystal, but it's like,
I know.
In a long thing of Jen admitting her faults, I will also add that I used to be like, it's just so frustrating to like, just be compassionate. It's not that hard. But with my husband losing his vision, I've realized how ableist the world is and how ableist I am too. With trying to help him navigate the world with hardly any vision. So it's made me even more compassionate within my own work of like, you don't know what you don't know. And I think that my TED Talk helps to point that out a little bit.
I wonder how many people don't understand or realize how much ableism we all have in our own heads. It's a lot. When you start looking at it really hard, you're like, God dang, I suck. I try my Fat Joy events, always trying to make sure everything is really accessible. And I had to go to all kinds of different venues and like, no, I want everything on the ground floor. I don't even want to have to elevators this time, I want everybody to just be able to walk right in or roll right in and not have to even think about it.
Yeah.
No 3 steps up or 2 steps up. Because what was 2 or 3 steps? No big deal. But it is. If you have a wheelchair or a walker or a cane we're all so bad. And then I wonder too, other fat people do talks on TED Talk, but not about fatness?
I would hope so. Funny enough, there was a commercial last night. I know everything in my world revolves around birth, but it was a midwifery at midwifery school here in Albuquerque. And it was like a fat midwife and a fat patient. And I was literally like bouncing and clapping and so excited. And it was just about midwifery. It wasn't about being fat. So yeah, I mean, right? Like
representation
of all sizes. But it's another thing for us to think about of when people are planning at conferences, like diversity is so important. That was really important to me with being here in, New Mexico, where there's a huge indigenous population, and making sure that representation was going to be a part of it. Like in the back of my head, I was like, okay, there needs to be diversity. Like that is incredibly important for all of us. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, it makes the world so much better, but it's hard for people to understand. Like, I know I get shit on a lot as a fat person, but when you have a disability and you're fat or other, you have more than one marginalization, it just gets so bad. And a lot of people with disabilities don't even basically don't even want to struggle trying to leave their house. They're just like, let's have all my friends come over here because it's just easier, like, man, I hate that for them, I'm like, God dang it, Chrystal, you got to do better. So I know you're trying to do better. I'm trying to do better, but we need everybody to try to do better,
Well, you've taught me so much, Chrystal. I remember when you came to Denver, and I lived in Denver, and went to the Cheesecake Factory, and there was a chair with arms, and you're like, no, girl, I need a chair without arms. And like, you just asked for it, and it was there. And like, we've loved and supported on one another for so long, and I've learned from you, and hopefully I've shared some wisdom with you.
Yes, you have.
It's all learning and growing, and but the basis of it is just meeting people with kindness and meeting people where they're at, and
it's just not hard to be kind. It's so easy.
But I look at, I have a high schooler, and he deals with the bullying that I dealt with when I was in high school. Like it doesn't really change, but we got to keep showing up even when we don't want to, and it's not always easy, but it's so incredibly important.
Before we wrap up, what's your plans for 2026? I know I've had pneumonia in the past. It's a nightmare, and I bet you have no energy, I'm sure. But what's going on for you? What are you hoping to try to accomplish this year?
I developed a course on size inclusivity for maternity professionals. So that's
Ooh,
my real goal, is to get it out. It got approved by the California Board of Nursing for nursing credits. So nurses
congratulations.
nationwide can take it, and also
Uh,
general contact hours for like doulas and nutritionists. Like if you work with pregnant people, check out my course. So that's my big hope, is to get that out into the world this year, and hopefully speak more. Like that would
yeah.
be a dream. I just need to be able to figure out how to get there and not have so much anxiety and stress around it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard to imagine that you have any anxiety or stress over it. But like for me, I don't get too nervous if I know what I'm talking about, But even if I know what I'm talking about, I still get a little bit of butterflies just because
Oh
it's a
no, I
lot.
meant flying,
Oh,
just
oh yeah,
being
flying.
there.
Okay, yeah,
No,
speeding.
I
Yeah,
don't. Yeah,
you're not really. Yeah,
but I get. I mean, I still get a little bit of nerves, but
just a little bit, right?
I have my breathing exercises,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Rescue Remedy is amazing, and you can get it
Yes.
almost anywhere, and it just kind of helps
Yeah.
take the edge off and soothes
Yeah.
me. No, I'm more. How sad is that? I am more anxious, Chrystal, about going to an airport and getting on a plane than speaking in front of 500 people. I mean,
Yeah,
that's really
that's
the
weird.
reality.
It's weird. That most people aren't like that.
No,
But yeah.
I'm like, what I love to do and want to do is a lot of people's worst nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah, you're an anomaly for sure. For sure. It's so great chatting with you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you for having me
yeah, I can't wait
on.
to share this with you because I want to share the link and have everybody check you out. And you don't have to be even pregnant or interested in being pregnant just to watch it. It's
No, it's
great for
not even
everybody.
about
It's
pregnancy. I mean,
not at
that's a
all.
part of my story.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just about, how do we meet people with dignity and treat them with dignity, and just thinking about weight bias and how it impacts so many people more than we realize. With the American Psychological Association showed that like 42% of adults have experienced weight bias. So a lot of us. And so it's a conversation we
Amazing.
need to be having.
Yep. So again, tell everybody how to find you.
Thank you, Chrystal. PlusSizeBirth.com for everything plus size and trying to conceive, pregnancy, postpartum. I'm a certified childbirth educator and I have a ton of resources on there, from where to find maternity clothes, because that's important, to how to advocate in healthcare settings. And then Plus Mommy is kind of where I just show up as Jen.
Yep.
I hang out
Yep.
on Instagram as besties, and we got to get the podcast back up because I have been harassing Chrystal to be on it since 2014. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's a
Let's
reason
do
for
it.
me to get it back up.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me. All right, Chica. Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody. See you guys. See you later, alligators.
Bye. After crocodiles.
Thank you.